All right. Osio, Buitia Chulurni. Welcome, peace, and all those other good greetings. Welcome to the Red Road East. I am your host, Feerce Truth-Seeker. The Red Road East is an indigenous TV program and YouTube channel dedicated to archiving and preserving the history, legacy, and culture of the indigenous peoples of the Americas east of the Mississippi River and the Caribbean. Well, tonight we have a guest that is coming all the way from Canarsee land to join the Red Road East. Okay. And you got a little taste of this young man on the short that we did at the Thunderbirds powwow last month. Okay. And I'm bringing him back on to give you the full course meal. Okay. So, without further ado, I'm going to bring in Roland, aka Roro Howard. Roro,
Hey,
greetings.
greetings.
How are you?
I'm doing great. Well,
Oh man.
great spirit,
Yeah,
you know.
man, it's so good to have you.
Likewise, thanks for having me.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. So I know that you're a busy man and you have a busy schedule, and I know that you have to be out of here right on the half mark hour.
Mm,
So we're gonna get right into
let's do it.
it. So uh tell
Mhm.
the viewers your name and your tribal affiliations.
Okay, so my name is Roland. My family and tribe, they call me Roro. Um, I come from the Canarsee Matinecox. I'm a descendant of the Canarsee, and I'm a part of the Matinecox tribe, if that makes sense.
Yes, beautiful, beautiful. And so um you also do you do vending as well. I've seen you at powwows vending and things of that nature. Um you want to talk about that a little bit and what you have to offer the people?
Well, I really help out my fellow relatives, my sister tribal members, um, Tony Mohawk and his wife Marcy, and also Nibby. You know, they are Uncle Chung and Lenape members. Um, I do have my own products that I'm also coming out with. I have a few body butters, skincare, hair care butter, and also some natural juices that I make.
Beautiful. Oh man. And you also attend the parades that we do. Myself, my godmother, Firebird Grey Wolf, and Strong Bear Woman. You've been a supporter of the parade throughout the years. What has your experience been like with that?
Oh man, wonderful! I love the parade. I love the Indigenous People Parade. Um, I think a lot of more people should come out, no matter if you're Native American or Caribbean. It's for Indigenous people. So people that come from Indigenous backgrounds, they should definitely attend it. It's wonderful. Excuse me. It's very festive. It's very cultural, colorful. Oh man, it's one of a kind. Truly, it's one of a kind.
Uh, yeah, and it's definitely a pleasure having you there every year. Now, for the viewers, tell us who are the Canarsee Indians, and what are the territorial boundaries of the nation?
Okay, so I want to start off saying the Canarsee Indians are descendants of the Lenape Nation. They are descendants of the Delaware people. They come from their territory is from Coney Island, as far west as Coney Island, Gowanus, and up until Jamaica Bay.
Mm,
So Coney Island to Jamaica Bay has all Canarsie.
mm.
The Canarsie people was a people that was dominated that had first contact with the Dutch and taken over by the Dutch that had allies with the English. My family had first contact with the Dutch. My family surname is Repellier. It turned out to have an English spelling now, but the original spelling is, well, I don't know if you could put it up there so the people could, or do I have to say
Yeah, yeah, I could put it up there. Give me 1 second, and I'll throw that up there. Okay, what's that spelling?
Rapeyea? No, Rape. Sorry, RapeLyea. That's how my family surname is spelled today in modern time. That's the English spelling. Now,
Okay,
the Dutch spelling is Rapelje.
that's the Dutch spelling.
That's the Dutch spelling.
Okay.
Before the Dutch had sold New Amsterdam to the English, this is why New York is called New York today. Before New York was called New Amsterdam,
Mm,
and before it was called New Amsterdam, we had native names for New York, like such as Lenape King, which is Manhattan. Uh, Brooklyn was called Keskachog, and Long Island was called Promenade.
nice.
So I'm a Keskachog Canarsie, Matinecock. So so how I became so why I identify as a Matinecock today is because the Sachem Takapusha had he was a relative to my Sachem, well, the Grand Sachem of the Canarsie tribe, which was Penhawis. So Penhawis was a Grand Sachem of the Canarsie tribe, and he was Takapusha uncle, you know.
Okay.
And Takapusha once Keith's War, see, there was a war, and it was called Keith's War that Penhawis died in. So after Penhawis died, Takapusha was given the torch as Grand Sachem of
Mm,
Pomona of West Long Island. Okay, so the tribes that he was given was the Rockaways, along with the Canarsies, Settlecott, Massapequa, which he originally governed. That was Takapusha original tribe, the Massapequas, and they all came under the Matinecock banner. He promised them protection and security.
mm.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's funny. I tried to put the the spelling of the Repellier. I tried to put that up, but YouTube is blocking me
It's all good.
from putting that up. I guess because it was funny. Well, they let me put the Dutch spelling, but they didn't let me put the original spelling.
No, no, no. Well, that is the original spelling. You got it up there,
Oh,
but
this is the original spelling.
that's the original Dutch spelling. Yes.
No, no, I mean the original native
Translation,
spelling.
the translation of the English spelling, how the English spelled it, is how.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. So this spelling is right.
that
What's up
spelling
on the
is
screen?
Dutch. Yes, that spelling
Okay.
is Dutch. That's who. So basically, Penhawis, there's an Indian deed. Indian deed, as in, um, like basically land right. It was a paper which everybody knows controversial. Like there was a language barrier. There was a big language barrier with natives and colonizers or
Mm,
land grabbers. Um, you know, so they had got written up a paper, and Penhowie signed it, giving George Repellier land of Wallabout and other places in the Canarsee territory. And my family got sucked into that. So families that had nowhere to go, they stayed on that land and they had become servants, if that makes sense.
yeah. Yep.
So George Repellier was given an Indian deed by the Sachem Penhowie. So my family was sucked up into that because it was in the land in the territory of where my family was. So they had to take on the surname of Repellier, if that makes sense.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So now this spelling that you gave me, the first spelling with the Y is the English.
Yeah, YEA.
YEA. That's the English.
Yeah, RAPELYEA.
That's the English spelling. Okay.
Most
Yeah, they
certainly.
wouldn't let me put that up on the screen.
Hmm.
Yeah. It's saying YouTube replaced your comment. This usually means they think it's spam. Try changing it a bit. How the hell are you going to change somebody's name? It's like ridiculous. These people,
Yeah, that's the way it is. That's exactly
Mhm.
how it is. you know,
Unbelievable.
yes, I agree.
Unbelievable. But yeah, yeah. But now uh is there a clan system for the
Absolutely.
Kumasi?
Absolutely. See, the Canarsies are descendants of the Lenape Nation. They are Delaware people originally. They migrated, east.
Mhm.
So the system is much like the Lenape system because they are Lenape with the addition of the gray goose. They have the gray goose, which are the Marechewik people. Um, the Bear Clan, okay,
Mhm.
Turkey, Turkey Clan, Wolf Clan, and Turtle Clan.
Mm, nice.
Yeah. So Marechewik, as in the Merricks. So, like I said, they got absorbed into the Matinacot banner. See, if you are a Matinacot, then you come from one of those other tribes. You either come from the Merricks, the Rockaways, the Canarsies, Settlecot, Massapequas.
Mm,
Yeah.
beautiful. Um Now, can you tell us a little bit about the Canarsie spiritual system? Um, is it still practiced, um, or is much of it forgotten?
Well, I would definitely say much of it has been forgotten
Mm,
in a sense where, all right, so basically, what I mean by forgotten, because you got to remember that the Dutch, they didn't really care to push on religion to the native people.
mhm,
The Dutch was a little bit more friendly with the native people. They just wanted to trade. They just wanted to live, amongst the native people. But when the English came about, the English was a little bit more into forcing on to religion, um, a little bit more conquering and a little bit more mean with the natives. And the
Right.
natives didn't really take to that. So the natives and the English had problems. There was a lot of war between the English and the natives because of this, because of their forceful ways, because their demeanor of, well, much like today, a lot of you could see how the descendants of these people are with native people. Like they'll come off like, well, this ain't the right way of doing things, and you supposed to do things. It's like there's no accepting of there's differences in people. People do things differently.
Mm-hmm.
So the English didn't get along with the natives too well.
Right.
And so basically, when they pushed on their religion of Christianity, a lot of natives became Christian. A lot of natives became Christian. And that's
That's
why a
true.
lot of indigenous people today, natives are like in America, are like, Christian. But then, we have been trying to revitalize our native ways because it's in our spirit and the great spirit is within us, and the spirit talks to us, and we do our practices, we do ceremonies, we do different kind of ceremonies that we know that the remnants, we practice what, like the remnants of what we have from our ancestors that left behind, like just basically like, making sacrifices. Like if we, before we have a meal, we'll, pray to the creator and thank the creator for our meal, and um, you know respect Mother Earth, things like that, things of that nature.
Mm-hmm. Now, are there any documentaries or books written about the Canarsie?
Absolutely. See now, let me see, because I have a few of them. Let me see, where can I? So you got like the Canarsies. You can read about them. So I'm about to let you know now. So basically, the Canarsies. So you're gonna have. Give me a second. So you can read about them with the Moonsie. There's a book called the Indians.
Okay.
Because we have a Moonsie dialect. That was one of the dialects that we had. Moonsie, we was Moonsie speaking. So you could read about them, the Moonsie Indians. Where's that other book I have in my bookmarks? Sorry, just gotta give me a chance. Let me. Okay, so you have, what is that? Yeah, Tales of Gotham. That's another great book.
Mm.
Tales of
Listen
Gotham.
to Tales of Gotham.
That's
Is
another
that
great.
Gotham as in like Gotham City?
Absolutely, because this is Gotham City. you know.
Yeah.
Um, Let me see. You also have the Dutch dash Moonsey Encounter in America. That's a good one. That's a really good one. Um, Let me see. Yeah. So you put. Yep. Exactly. Um, Let me see. Indians of the Eastern Seaboard. hmm There's so much different things. Yeah. So that's a few.
Somebody's asking a question here. I'm throwing it up on the screen. I don't know if you can see it.
Related to the Wabash. What's the Wabash? I don't know what the Wabash is. What is the Wabash? What is the Wabash? Is that a surname? Is that I'm not sure what that is.
I guess they'll clarify.
Yeah, I'll be happy to answer. Ain't no shade. There's no shade. I just need
More
further.
context. Hmm.
Yeah, more context.
Yeah.
Take a
Um,
elaborate on it a bit for sure.
okay. Yeah. Uh, so what? Um, how much of the culture in terms of song, dance, art, and food still exists?
Oh, that exists, especially in food. Food
Mm.
and um, you know,
All you got to
it's
do is say food, and then my ears are open. Ah.
well, definitely the natives love corn, meals with corn,
Mhm.
a lot of see the funny thing is that today we have to identify as Black American, right?
Mhm.
When outside of the native community.
Mhm.
Because within the native community, the natives, we all know who we are. We
Mhm.
see in America, tribes, physical characteristics vary from coast to coast, from different regions and states. Now, there's no coincidence that the poster Indian of America it are the Midwest native tribes.
Right, right.
They look a lot different from the natives from the coast,
From the East Coast, yeah.
from the East Coast and the West Coast.
True,
Along
true. On the coast, yeah, yeah.
along the coastal lines and around the world, along the coastal lines, people tend to be brown, a little bit more brown skin, and have more of a Afro texture.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
a lot of people, because of the spell work that been cast over the masses of us, they think that Afro equals to African.
Right.
And I'm not denouncing anything. Like, ain't nothing wrong with being African. If you're African,
Hmm. Hmm.
there's nothing wrong with that.
Exactly.
But what you're not going to do is tell me that I'm someone who I'm not.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Say that
So,
again, brother. Say it again.
yeah, you're not going to tell me that I'm someone who I'm not. You know what I mean? So, y- they claim that the people of color, they claim that all the people of color over here in America, they come from West Africa.
Hmm.
Now, if you get a West African and you get the so-called Black American, who is indeed an Aboriginal of America, you will see a big difference in
Hmm.
physical characteristics. And then another spell and propaganda and all these things that they cast over people. They say, "Well, you look like that because your ancestor was raped by white people." Come on, you kidding me? Come on,
Hmm.
that really makes sense.
Hmm.
Why would a group of people have kids with another group of people that they claim that is inferior and enslaved? Why would they have kids with people that's inferior? That see, people have to really wake up and do their homework and really question things. Nobody question things. They just get this information from wherever they get it from, wherever they told from the propaganda, the movies, and all these things that they pushing onto the masses, and then they just go and run with it. It's crazy. Um, so I'm sorry I got a little bit off track
It's
because
okay. I know where you're going with that. I mean, of course, we know that they did have offspring, but it's not everyone that looks with
Brown, yeah,
particular crown is an offspring of a white or a
yeah,
Caucasian
that's
and
ridiculous to
one
me.
month. Yeah, exactly.
That's ridiculous. I'm telling you, it's so ridiculous. I swear, when I come across other people of color, and it's my people of color, they should really. It's crazy that they don't question that, like, and they go along with it. I don't understand that the part where, because I've heard from people of color, they say, "Oh, you look like that because your ancestor was raped by the white man." It's like, come on, really,
Hmm.
really,
Exactly.
come on, man.
Exactly.
We gotta really like be humble to what people got to say about what where they come from, because a lot of times that I've been told that or questioned that, a lot of the people, they're not really American, like American natives. They family came from different places and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And I'm here for all my indigenous people, man. I love all my indigenous people. Don't get it twisted. Whether you're
Yeah.
African, whether you're Caribbean, whether you're considerably, because they rename us 1,000 times in historical texts. So today, modern time, outside of my native community, outside of my tribe, they consider us Black American people. So, whether you a Black American that lost your way, your family lost your way, lost their way, and they don't know what tribe they belong to and stuff like that, but they been told by their grandparents, "Oh, we Indians, we accept you. We want you out
Hmm.
to come out to the Indigenous People Day parade." It's beautiful.
Yeah. Now, was there ever a reservation for the Canarsie?
Yeah, a lot of the Canarsee people, to be honest with you, they stayed on Puspatuck.
Mm.
That wasn't just a reservation for Uncle.
Mm.
Yeah, a lot of the Canarsie people had lived and died on Puspatuck.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Wow.
sure.
Oh, interesting.
Because
Uh,
the Canarsies was a nomadic people.
mm,
It was nomadic. So once things started hitting the fan with the Dutch and the English, they was promised land more east. They moved more east into Long Island. A lot of people don't know. If you don't know, Brooklyn and Queens is West Long Island. It wasn't always Brooklyn and Queens. That was all considered West Long Island. So
mm.
there's West Long Island and East Long Island. So families from the West migrated more east, and they was given, they was taken in by the other tribes, like
Mm.
the Uncle Chung and the Matinacocks. Yeah.
So I guess it would be safe to say that there was never any type of state or federal recognition for the Canarsie themselves, being that they were absorbed into other tribes.
It's funny that you said. I love that question. I love that question because it's funny because we're not federally or state recognized, right?
Hmm.
Well, but yet the books acknowledge us.
Right, right.
You know,
And that's overrated anyway in terms of being recognized.
they know who we are. They said we all disappeared because we intermarried with other, and it says in the text we intermarried with other Negroes.
Hmm.
It's true. It's true that we intermarried, but how? But how? But how is that? It's crazy. It's crazy because check this out, right?
Hmm.
And I'm not trying to shade any people, right? But I would just want to speak on the reality of things and the facts of things.
Hmm.
If and history speaks on this. I'm not just saying this. This is history. If a Caucasian mixed with an Indian, their offsprings are Indian. But if a
Right.
Negro mixed with an Indian, they black.
Exactly. And I bring that up all the time.
It's
Exactly.
crazy. And I
Hmm.
might have to repeat that for the audience.
Yeah. Yeah.
You, if a white person or a Caucasian mixed with an Indian, they offspring identify as Indian, and
They're
they recognize
Indian.
Indian.
Yep.
But if the Negro, the so-called Negro, mixed with an Indian, and they offspring, they black.
Hmm. That's the contradiction. That's the color politics. The color caste system.
But the funny thing is that they brainwashing people to think that the Indians or the natives or the Aboriginals are of a white skin. They're not.
Yeah.
They
Exactly.
are of a copper color.
Hmm.
But people don't read anymore. People don't care.
They don't read. Yeah.
You know, and then if they look at the copper color, okay, they copper color. So now they're looking at what propaganda and what Hollywood want to show you. They want to show you the Midwest Indians. So what happened to all of the natives across the America?
Exactly. Exactly.
It's
Exactly.
crazy.
But
Yeah,
people, like you say, people don't read.
right. So as far as the family band of Chicago, Indiana, I'm a West Long Island native.
No, no. He's
He's
answering the question about
yeah,
the Wabash.
and I'm not related to the Wabash because I'm a West Long Island native. I'm from Pominack, so I'm from the Repellier band. I'm from Bear Clan.
So no, no. In other words, he's saying no relation that he knows of with the Wabash is what he's
Yeah,
saying to you. Who is this? Um,
an early story.
an early story. Yeah. So
But
that's
shout outs to you and your journey, and I wish you the best of luck with your journey, and I hope one day you can make it out to the Indigenous American Parade out here. Where we accept all
exactly.
people.
And
You
are there any projects that you're working on that you would like to let the people be aware of?
At the moment, I'm not. I have not been. I've been trying to, you know, trying to. I've been putting up with every day, life, this society, and this stuff is, trying to, make a living, trying to survive right now, trying to
Hmm.
survive. But about the food, I never answered you. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah.
Going more in depth about the food. So, of course, I grew up on turkey wings. Of course, natives we eat a lot of turkeys, not just on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So I grew up on turkey wings. Um, I grew up on mashed potatoes. Mashed potatoes. That's native. Just in case people don't know, mashed potatoes is definitely native. Corn, corn on the cob, kernel corn, cream style corn. My mom used to always make different kind of corn. She still make cream style corn, kernel, regular kernel corn, corn on the cob, cornbread. Little neck clams, the quahogs. Oh man, I love the clams. Lord, uh, little neck clams. Bake, we steam them or bake them. Mussels, love mussels. Mussels. Um, wild rice. We ate mushrooms and a little bit of steak, deer meat. Love deer meat. Deer meat is actually really good. My grandfather he's a hunter and a fisherman. He fished and
Mm.
hunt. Yeah, so I grew up eating deer meat, corn grits.
Yeah, deer is good.
Yeah, deer's really good. Or I eat like corn grits and dead patties, or corn grits and clams, corn grits, fish, whiting. Grew up on salmon, you know,
Hmm.
um, you know. things like that.
Hmm. Oh, beautiful.
Hmm.
Beautiful. Yeah, man, you got my mouth watering just talking about it. Now I know it's your time to go. So for those
I got
who
like
may wish to
I got like
contact,
more minutes,
uh,
15 more minutes. No, I
um,
got about 15 more minutes.
oh, okay, cool, cool. Yeah. Uh and yeah, we pretty much I know you were talking about doing it in two parts, but shoot, we pretty much covered everything that we had said we were going to cover. Yeah, you did a great job, man.
Nah, thank you.
Yeah. So you do you do any singing at all
No, actually,
or drumming?
I would like to further, get more into, my own culture, but no, I haven't been doing too much singing or dancing or anything. Lima beans and cornbread for sure.
Oh, I
For,
love I had lima beans just yesterday.
for sure, lima beans and
I
cornbread.
love lima beans, man. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, for sure. Um,
Yeah.
so I haven't dived into the singing and the dancing, but I'm more so like I'm into like medicine.
Okay.
I'm not into like, singing. I'll do my circle, my little
Hmm.
dance, but I'm not a dancer or a singer or drummer. I'm really into like medicine. I make,
Oh,
my
you're a man after my own heart. Medicine. Yeah, that's my thing. You do what
yeah,
do you do in terms of medicine?
I drink like a lot of roots and tea, like burdock roots and dandelion. Dandelion, that's native. I forgot to tell people. Yeah, grew up eating dandelion greens and collard greens.
I
Um,
love dandelion greens.
yeah, dandelion. So I drink the tea. I drink a lot of dandelion tea. Oh shoot, forgot to tell y'all about the squash. Oh man, how can I forget about the
Oh
butternut?
yeah, squash.
The winter squash, acorn squash, butternut squash. My mom's. I really love when she used to make the kombucha squash soup.
Mm.
On that recipe. So I make like I drink a lot of like butternut squashes, soup, kombucha soup. I make teas like burdock root tea, dandelion root tea, chamomile, and linden tree tea, and
Mm.
I'm into like herbs and you know healthy like berries, raspberries, blackberries, cherries, and stuff like that. That's really like my niche. That's what I'm really like into. I'm into that part of
Hmm.
my culture, like praying and ceremonies. I go to ceremonies. I do ceremonies and just
Yeah,
try to.
I've seen you at the ceremonies. Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm. So no, I'm not really into this singing and dancing.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. Well, you have your, each of us have our own little niches. Yeah. Um, Now for those who may want to get in touch with you, how would they reach you? You have social
um,
media or email or
yeah, they can definitely reach my email. You could post my email. They can reach my email.
okay, what
They
is
got any questions or anything like that? If they want.
let me
Have,
get that email. I'll put it in the chat. You could run that off to me because I'm not in my email right now. So if you could
all right.
tell it
So
to me.
my first name, last name. You got the spelling of that right? Yeah. My first
Mm-hmm.
last name.
Roland Howard.
Yeah. 93 at yahoo.com. Yeah. Yeah. You can reach out. You know, email me. I don't mind answering any questions. I don't mind, connecting with any of my indigenous people, brothers and sisters. I could learn some things from you guys as well. About where you guys come from and how you guys do with your ceremonies and tribal things. I've been trying to get more involved myself,
Mm.
and like the ceremonial things. Like the last ceremony I did was in Long Island. It was the ceremony. You know,
Mm. Okay.
well ceremony because the well
Yeah.
washed up. Yeah, a well had washed up on Long Island, a dead well, so we had did a ceremony because to give thanks and give honor to the Creator and stuff like that, to pray. You know, because global warming is serious. Global warming is serious. Sea life should be honored and protected. We need to protect our the other communities that live here on Mother Earth. It's not just
Indeed.
us. We have other species that live amongst us, and people think because they don't speak our language that they can't communicate.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Animals communicate within their communities. We
You
just
got that right.
language.
That's right.
They say the birds are chirping.
Mm-hmm.
We hear it as chirping,
Exactly.
but in their community, they saying something.
They're saying something. That's right.
They're not just making noises.
That's a
you you
that's a
know,
fact.
that's a fact. We have to live amongst other species and understand their community as well and respect their community. So we have to treat the ocean better. You know,
Mm-hmm.
treat the grass and the trees better. Some people just woke up on the tree and if they drunk or something, they might urinate on the tree or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Throw trash on the tree or smoke a cigarette and put it out. We gotta do better.
True. True.
We're taking care of the Mother Earth because Mother Earth is gave birth to us.
Mm-hmm.
Us humans. Mother Earth gave birth to us. So if we could honor that and live a healthy lifestyle and clean this earth, I feel like we'll thrive as a nation of people, humanity.
Indeed. And I meant was to chime in earlier. It's funny when you mentioned dandelion and the healing properties of dandelion. It's funny because right before we started the live, I was talking to a brother about we were both discussing the healing properties of dandelion.
The lion is native. A lot of people don't know dandelion is native to North America.
Yep,
Natives, we ate dandelion a lot. The healing properties is amazing.
it's amazing. That's right.
Amazing.
I mean, just before we started the live, we were talking about that dandelion, man. I
Yeah.
knew, when you said it, I said, "Oh man,
Mushrooms. A lot of people don't know. Mushrooms. I left that out. Man, mushrooms
oh, I
are
love mushrooms."
oyster mushrooms, baby bella mushrooms.
Mm,
I would make this amazing native soup, man. Love butternut squash, some baby bella or oyster mushrooms or mayataki or mayatake, however they want to pronounce it, mayatake or whatever. I'll use one of those three mushrooms with some peppers, red peppers,
mm,
and blend that all up together and just have that simmer as my base and
mm,
some spring water and put my butternut squash in there, some thyme seed
mm,
in there, some sea salt in there. Just
mm.
well, man, it's amazing, man. I have that all year round. Soup is always on top of my stove all year round. I have
Oh
this.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, oh yeah.
You
Well,
gotta try it, man. I'm gonna bring you some.
okay, all right. I'll be looking forward to it.
Let me
Yeah,
know. big clams. You gotta try my big clams.
Okay, okay, sounds good, man. I'll be waiting. Yeah, well, I know you. I know that the time is moving. I know this is not going to be the last time that you'll be on the show.
Yeah, absolutely not. I know. So how do it work? Like, there's some people. I know there's some people watching. I've done seen a few questions pop up, but I can't see the people in the room on my.
Oh, you can't see it on your
Oh,
computer?
actually, I just seen the comments. Can you send? Oh wow, yeah. I mean, man, shout outs to your viewers, man, to the people that's tuning in. That's really cool, man. That's super cool.
Yeah,
I just want to appreciate them. Well, you know,
definitely,
like
definitely appreciate those viewers.
this
Yeah,
bill not going on. Yeah, it's not.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
People watching from Las Vegas and everything. That's really
yeah, yeah, Las Vegas. Wow, that's
that's
what's
cool.
up.
Yeah,
hmm And even at the parade, a lot of these people who watch the show are actually the people who come to the parade. A lot of people at the parade, they were like, "Yeah, I found out about the parade by watching your show." I was like, "Really?" I said, "Wow, man! All these people here watch the show, and they come from all over the country, man."
yeah. I mean, I was telling you, I even came across your show, and I like it. I took a
Wow.
took a liking to it, yeah, for sure. Like I was like,
Mm.
man, I said, man, you do immaculate work. Well, I was saying at the time because I didn't know. I said, man, this dude do great work, man. I
Oh
love
wow,
what he's
man.
doing. I said, I love it. I was like, man,
Oh
I
man.
was fascinated. I was like, oh shoot,
Oh man. I humbly appreciate it.
yeah, man, yeah.
Humbly appreciate it.
I was like, man, he like the things that you was doing and diving into, and I was like, man, why can't more people just come out and do that, you know,
Mm, mm.
and you're out here, you seeking the truth, man. You
That's
see,
it, man. That's it. Whatever the truth is, I just put it out there. I take myself out of it and put it out there.
you seeking the truth, but I was like, man, I watched so many of your episodes. Forget about it. I
Oh
watched.
wow, really?
Yeah, of
Oh
course. Yes, man. Yeah, I'm
wow,
actually, I'm actually subscribed. I'm just I'm subscribed.
wow,
yeah,
wow. Oh, that's deep, man. That's what's up. I appreciate it.
yeah.
Appreciate it.
I'm subscribed. I was like, man, no, I gotta, tune in. I gotta support, man. I gotta support this
Wow,
big brother right here. I gotta support it because I was like, man,
man.
I was like, wow. I was like, he's speaking about the Canarsee Indians. What? I said, what?
Yeah, that day when I did the thing on the Canarsee Indians, I was supposed to have Pat Pawpaw on the show. She's Canarsie. Uh,
Yeah.
Known her from way back. She used to live right around the corner from me. Before I even knew she was Canarsie, I didn't even know she. I happened to see she lived right around the corner from me when I lived in Brooklyn.
Yeah,
And
so you lived in Canarsie.
yeah, yeah, well, no, in Flatbush.
Oh, you
You
live
know,
in Flatbush.
yeah. I mean, I lived all over Brooklyn, but
Yeah.
where her and I lived at was in the Flatbush area, and I
What part?
happened to see her. Hmm?
Sorry, what part?
Oh, right over like Church Avenue area, like
Okay.
the area there.
I lived over there.
Okay, yeah, yeah. I used to live right there, right there. And
Hmm.
I saw her at a powwow one day, and I said, "Wow, what you doing what you doing here?" She said, "Yeah, I come to the powwows all the time." I said, "Really?" She said, "Yeah, I'm a Canarsie." I said, "Get out of here!" I couldn't believe it. I saw her at a powwow. We see each other in the neighborhood, talk to each other, and blah blah blah, and there she was at the powwow. I said, "Man, you never know."
Yeah, I speak to her. Yeah,
Yeah.
nice lady.
Yep, yep. That's how I found out she was a Canarsie. She said, "Yeah, I'm one of the last of the Canarsies." I said, "Wow,
Yeah,
amazing." Yeah.
because it's sad because the plan was to have the natives intermarry because the land grabbers did not want the rest of the world to see that there was a people of Afro that's original to here. They
Mm-hmm.
didn't want, the rest of the world to see that there's Aboriginals here as well as everywhere else.
As well as
Like,
everywhere else.
yeah, like for instance, you ever seen like the indigenous people of the Fijis?
Of
Fiji
course.
Island?
Of course.
Yeah, they never came
Of
from
course.
Africa.
Yeah. And
You
they're
know,
dark. They're dark.
the dark skin and they got
Course,
afros.
they got
Yeah,
coarse hair, afro. Yeah.
yeah, of course, here. You
Hmm.
know,
I did a
and
whole show. I did a whole show on all of that stuff before.
mhm.
Hmm.
So they didn't want people to see like, damn, everywhere we go in this corner of this earth, there's people that look like that.
And it's sad because I look at certain platforms and you have these different, particularly in the Pan African community. You have a lot of these people who, they do these debates and stuff, and they talk about, um, the people who look like us who are indigenous, and they think it's a joke, and they don't know anything about any of the history, and they make a mockery of it, you know and
Uh,
it's just out of ignorance, because they don't know any of the stuff that we're talking about.
Ignorance and trauma.
Yeah, yeah.
Your own trauma. That's what I think about it.
Hmm.
Right? And I
Yeah.
see, okay, these are a group of people that have they trauma.
Hmm. It's
Um
like,
internalized racism and colorism. Internal it's colorism, you know.
yeah.
Um how can I say, like, if you identify with being African, I'm not gonna tell you you're not.
Yeah, because genealogy is unique to each one of us. We all
I
have
don't
a different
know your
story.
family. I don't know your grandmother. I don't know
Exactly.
your grandmother. I don't know what your grandfather told you. I don't know.
True.
So if your grandmother, listen to them, which if they are considerably Black American, I highly doubt that their grandmother or if their great grandfather or whoever their grands are, if they fortunate enough to have met them and they foundational American, I highly doubt that they said that they was from Africa.
Yeah, very
Highly,
few. Very few.
but if they go against their family culture and want to go with what the white man is telling them, because think about it like this: all the Pan African people, and I'm not trying to um I'm not trying to diss them. I don't want to diss nobody. I don't want to come up
Right,
here and
right, right. Exactly.
I don't want to diss nobody.
And I'm not doing that either. Yeah.
Right, right.
Yeah. No.
But what I would like to say is like Pan Africans. Um, so if nobody's telling you that you're not African, don't tell nobody who they are. Don't tell me
Exactly.
that I'm not that I come from Africa because I can't prove that to you.
Hmm.
And not for nothing, I don't look like a West African. So you can't just say, see that's the what you went back and said, the ignorance factor of it. See, that's like you so brainwashed. They so focused on being so pan black or pan African that they actually going backwards and thinking like the colonizer.
Right.
If you think anybody that has a colored skin and somewhat of a curl and that come from Africa, then you're thinking like the colonizers. They just all put us in the category and say you guys that, and that's it,
Mm-hmm.
because they was ignorant and they just didn't
Exactly.
differentiate. It would have been too much for them. It would have been too much for them to say, all right, this person come from this tribe, this person come from this tribe, this person come from this tribe, this person. America's big. See, everybody just look at North America. North America is not America.
Right.
It's North America.
And it's part of the Americas.
The Americas. Now
Mm-hmm.
you got North, Central, and South, and with the exception of the American islands,
Right. Yeah,
which
the
is the
adjoining
Caribbean,
islands.
which is the
Mm-hmm.
Caribbean. And without the Caribbean, from North to South America, it's bigger than Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Just look at the map.
Yeah. Yeah.
Africa is not the biggest continent. They tell us all kinds of things. That's all propaganda.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because the islands, all at one time, all of this stuff was together anyway. So realistically,
Right.
this is bigger. This is a big. You're talking about a huge. Like you say, if you put
Mhm.
all of that stuff together, you know, you're talking about a massive amount of land.
Right.
Put north, south, and the islands. Forget about it.
It's big.
Now my wife just came in from doing laundry, and I didn't have dinner ready, and she looked like she's about to throw a shoe at me. So,
Yeah, you gotta keep them happy.
and women don't play with food.
Oh
You
no.
know, so I'm gonna have to, and also we don't want to give the viewers too much. We want to, make sure that they, we only, we'll give them a little flavor, and then make sure that they come and join in again when you come back.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. We'll be,
Yeah,
we'll be back. Thanks for having me. Yeah.
yeah, it was a pleasure, man. And let's
Conversation.
see, we have another viewer, Ninky. She says, great conversation, love the interview. She says,
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah, that's our timekeeper there. Ninky,
Thank you. So
timekeeper.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah. All right. Well, you see, Ninky, we started right on time, and you know, we're right on it. Yeah. But anyway, but it is a pleasure, and definitely looking forward to having you back on the show soon.
Thank you. Thanks for having
Yeah,
me. I had a wonderful, wonderful conversation. It was beautiful. I
yeah.
appreciate it.
You getting a lot of love from the
Yeah.
chat.
Much love. Much love.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah. That was beautiful, man. I really appreciate it. Like I said, I like what you got going on, man. You the man. You the man. You
I,
the man.
I humbly appreciate it, man. Humbly
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah. I was
Sure.
like, man, I got it. It's funny, man. I was so happy to see you walk up in the power. I recognized you. I said, man, that's that guy. That's that speaker, man. That's him. I said, that's him, man. That's the guy
Wow.
I got on YouTube, man. These people don't know who you are.
Yeah, I don't be knowing, man. Shoot, a few weeks ago, I was in the grocery store, man, and somebody walked up and said, "Hey, you are from that show," and I was like, "Oh, really?" I'm like, "Yeah, I watched your show." I was like, "Man, I didn't know I was that popular."
Yeah, man. You out there. You out
Wow.
there. You out there.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
But
so
yeah, it's a pleasure, man. But we gonna be doing some big things. We're gonna be working together as well, in the future about those things I was talking to you about,
yeah, other
at the
projects.
at the powwow. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's cool. I'm with
for
that.
sure. Okay. All right, man. So
Bro, man.
again, I had a blast, and until the next time, man.
Yes, and the next time.
All right, so
Wow.
I'm gonna get ready to sign off. Thanks, man. Thanks again.
All right, one love.
One love. Yeah, folk. So, man, it's when you're having fun, you know, it's always that time when it's time to pack up until we meet again. All right. So, you had a guest who is one of the last of the Canarsee indigenous people. As he said, they were, you know, a lot of them were absorbed into the other local tribes, and yeah, we'll definitely have him back on the show very soon. So I'm gonna close out, and I'll say until the next time, Todo Gahi, Sarame, Ayo.